everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to do the card that you saw at the beginning. I am going to say this one took a while because it didn't matter which way I tried to work it. You cannot go without getting some thickness in the middle because everything meets in the middle. So it doesn't matter which way you try and work it, you are going to get some extra padding in the middle. Just pre-warning you all that. So let's get started. So I'm going to take the square and the small rectangle. We're going to start with this one. So this is the main mechanism we're going to do first. And what we need a square. I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio. And we need a square that is 3 in width. This is how I've worked this out. And 5. Because we want it a little bit shorter than the main card. And then we're going to add the arms on. Now the arms have got to be 7 in width. And then we want the height just to be 125. That's 1 1/4. And what I'm going to do, this is the easiest way I can do it. First of all, we need 3 of them. So let's layer, duplicate, layer, duplicate. And I'm going to use the X and Y. You know how much I love my X and Y. So this one, we want it at 6. So if you follow the X, we want that to be at 6 and the Y to be at 0. Almost there. There we go, 6 and 0. And then these, we want it on the X on the 0. And what we're going to do, we want a little bit of gap, about, I think 1/4 of an inch will do it. So Y on the 25, X on the 0. This one, X on the 0. And we want Y, we want it on 3.5. And then what we're going to do, let's just get that one on the 0. It doesn't matter exactly where it is, as long as the X is on the 0. Then we're going to grab all 3. And you see over here, distribute objects. We want them vertically distributed evenly. So we know that the gap is the same all the way through. That is on the 0. That one should be on the 6. That's it. They're all in the right place, so we're going to weld. The reason I've done that is to make sure that we've got it in the exact right place. And then we need some score lines. So, path tool. We need one here, which is on the 6 as well. So you can check that you've got it in the right place. There we go, on the 6. And then we need another one on the 3. Okay, so it's just got to go over one little digit. And then we're going to pick both of them up, which can be such a pain. There we go. So we've picked both of them up and we are going to layer and duplicate. The reason I don't change the score lines just yet is because, just making sure I've got it in the right place. Again, make sure that the X is on the 3 because we've got both of them. We want the X, the first one. Yeah, the reason I haven't changed it yet is because it's easier to pick up a straight line than it is a scored line. So again, we need to move them over. So now that's on the 3. See how difficult it is to try and pick up the... Okay, so when it gets that difficult, I tend to go over here. So I've got a feeling that's the next. Yeah. So now I've got them two. They need to come down a bit, I noticed. There we go. So now if we grab all, and then if you hold shift and click on the shape, it's only got the score lines. So we can change to score lines and they're all done. So that is the central mechanism, if you like. Control G or layer group. and that's the main mechanism. And then we are going to get another square. Actually, we're going to get 2 squares. We want 1. Let's go back here. 1 I'm going to change to 1 inch, and we'll come back to that in a minute. This one, we want it 9 by 6. So we're effectively doing a 6 by 6 gatefold style card, but we do need to add a few extra bits. Now the way to do this is to get these 2 together and centralize them. We need to make sure that this bit is in the middle. That's the important bit, that this bit is even both sides. And then we are going to, I am just going to put the rectangle we're working now, I'm just going to send it to the back for a second so I can get the right place on here. And what I'm going to do is just send it out a little bit. Okay, so I use the arrow keys to send it out a little bit, and then I'm going to use that, and then we are just going to come in a little bit closer so that you can see where I'm working. So this square here, what we want it to do is so that these central dots are on the line of the card. We are using these to place where they should be. So layer, duplicate. We know we want the next one so that it's hovering over these 3 strips. We are literally using it for placement. One more. Okay, and now we can display, zoom to max size. So we've come back out, and now we can move this element out of the way, and we can weld them. Now again, we've got some score marks we need to make, so we're going to go back to the X and Y, make sure they're on 0, 0. First thing we need is score lines down here, and you make sure they're on the 5, 0. The reason we know that is because the square I made 1 inch has been put down to 1/2 inch because it was halfway across. Okay, we've got one more that we need at 3.5 inches. So on the actual card it would be 3 inches, but because of the extra tabs we need it at 3.5. There we go, 3.5 inches. And we'll do the same again. We'll grab it all, hold the shift key, click on the card so it doesn't highlight that, and then change to a score line. And that's all your score lines there too. And that is pretty much the pieces you need, and you need 2 of each, and this is what I'm talking about now. So this is the card shape, and you're gonna join them both in the middle, so you've got 2 layers there already. This bit is going to go in the middle of that before it joins onto these tabs, so you're going to have 2 pieces of that as well. So that's already a lot of card, and what I would do is use a very thin card. Now just before we go, I just wanted to show you layers. So this one, let's maintain aspect ratio back on because it's a square. We want at 5.75. When I'm doing mats and layers, I always go down by 1/4 inches, so you can see that fits just nicely there. But what we're going to do for this one, we need one that is, if we layer duplicate, untick aspect ratio, we want this, the height at 4.75 and the width at 2.75, and that's going to fit inside there. But we're going to cheat a little because we've already got enough layers. we are going to centralise it to this both ways, middle and centre. And that way, when it cuts out of there, we can put it straight on here, and this will cover it. So it's just an extra layer that we can sort of get rid of but still use. So it's saving paper, but it's helping as well. These layers here you're going to need 4 of. If we use this one, and we're just going to change the size slightly. So these need to be 275 by 575, and you need 4 of them. And then you need ones for this. Let's just get a... If you don't want to put mats on here, that's all well and good, that's fine. But if you do, they need to be 275 width, an inch height, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so you need 12 of them. So 12 of them, 4 of them, because you need one on the front, one on the outside, one on the inside, on each side. So let me just... They're the layers. The card pieces, you need 2 of each. Whatever colour you decide to do, you need 2 of each. Try and do it on a thinner card. Okay, so just for the arms of this, my idea, as you saw previously, was to make them into like bookshelves. So I am going to be using this kit. It's from Stash. You can see that's the link there. I got it from Stash. I haven't got the whole kit, but I do have this one. I've got the stamp, the embossing folder, and this one here. I didn't buy the whole set. This one is now out of stock. Right at this very minute. I don't know if it's coming back in. I will be using this because this is the one I really adore. And I'll be using these as long as they're not too big. That's what I'm going to be using. If you want to do some books and you want to do it in here, I'm just going to put that together and hide it so that I can show you. I was playing just with the shapes, so all I've done is use the rectangles, but I used the ones that are cut corners as well, just to see what looked better. And then if you do a set of them, I haven't sized this, I'm just showing you for example, you could offset tightly around it. So on an 04, okay, so I know that these top ones are the ones I've just outlined. So if I weld them, then they just go tightly around the outside of it, and then however many you want to cut out, you've then got a guide to stick them to. That's if you want to do your own books. I mean, I've just done a rough there. You could also, actually, let me just get that out of the way. Like one of them you could tip a little bit so it's leaning, maybe not that much. Play around like that. So there are ways of doing it, but I'm going to use my die and stamping kit. So I think that's everything, and I'll see you over at the craft table. Okay, so I'm at the craft table. I've done mine in craft card, so I just want to show you, no, we'll do that in a minute. Let's just go through the bits of the card. So you should have 2 bits like this. Turn that round. If you've done it like I showed you, then they should be in the same places either way, because we've done it so that it was 1/4 inch in on this one. We've done it so that the same distance was there as there, so it doesn't matter which way round you turn it. So these two, you want to go valley and then mountain. Like this. Okay, these two are going to go together like that. So let's just do that first, so it's got time to go together. That's better. And then you're going to do the same for these two. You want them together like that. Now, what I was saying about the background paper. So, I'll cut it a bit wrong there. So, if you cut it out, you see it's one whole piece like that. But if you cut the piece that goes in the middle of this out of the middle of that, put it in there, and then you know exactly where the middle is on there, and that's one less layer, because like I said, there's a lot of layers that all have to go in the middle. Okay, sorry, I should have mentioned these are some it's a Stamperia kit. It's actually got like all these kind of little kits in as well. It was a book collection kit, and that's what I have used. Also, I used some, there's a textures kit, and it's got lots of book pages and things in. And then for the mats for these, it's also from the Stamperia kit, and it's just loads of book pages, so I thought they'd all go perfectly. Just so you know. So now we can stick this one in. Okay, so that's all the backing sheets down, and now what we're going to do, if you do them over like this, fold that in and fold them back, then we're just going to add glue here. And you're just going to fold these back on themselves to get the three of them stuck. Make sure you got them straight as well. And then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so what you're left with is, it looks like this. So when you close it, they are over the top of each other, and then you open it like that. So now all it is to decorate. So like I said, what I really want to do is like a bookshelf effect. So I have done, these are from the embossing folder I told you, and I just used some really old looking papers, and I'm going to put them ones on the bottom. Then I've done the stamp, which is a little bit smaller. That's just the cover of it, it's still in the thing at the minute. It's a little bit smaller than the embossing folder, so I'm going to put them at the top. I don't know if you can see it, there you go. Took a bit of cutting out, but I do love it. Actually, that's still the embossing. I don't know what I'm talking about there. There's the stamp. So they can go along there. I've got these. I've got this beautiful piece. Gorgeous. And this piece. These were together, but I cut them up to use them separately. The only thing I've got to decide is, just do this the right way. When it's shut, I need something in the middle as a sort of centerpiece. So I don't know whether to use that or that. I really like that. Whatever piece I use, the other piece I'm going to put into the center there. I think I like that on the front. Now I could just, you know, curve it a bit, give it a bit of extra oomph. Obviously I'll be using pads. I've done the quote, just one more chapter. Actually that will go nice above there, wouldn't it? I actually got this to go above there, because that's how the stamps are designed, to go like above an open book. Okay, so I will have a play around and see what I come up with. Okay, believe it or not, it's the next day. So this is the finished one card in the end. You can see all the little bits all over the place. I decided on that one in the middle with the sentiment that says just one more chapter, because we all do that if we read. And that's the other side. So the front piece is now this, which is from the die set, and I've added Once Upon a Time on there as well. I was originally going to go with this. I still love it, but if you have a look, it actually covered most of the front and it just didn't look right. I wasn't happy with it, so I changed it to that, and that is what we've ended up with. So I'm happy with that. You could decorate down here. I don't feel like it needs it. I think it's already loaded up with plenty of stuff. So this is the Stamperia pad I used, Vintage Library. It's got lots of bits to cut out. It's got bookmarks and just loads of stuff that you could use. Loads of amazing pages that you could use. So, and then some sentiments on the front. I didn't use any of the sentiments because I wanted to use the stamp set, but that's the book I used anyway. Love it. I just wanted to show you my practice one. So I've done it in Christmas themes, like that. I haven't put the sentiment in because I'll do the sentiment to suit whoever I make the card for, but it'll just have a sentiment in the middle. I feel like I made the same mistake here. The topper is way too big, but you know, I left it as it was anyway, just so that I could show you. This set, this papers and the topper and everything came from Paper Boutique set. Festive Friends, I think it was called. So it's the same style, but you know, you can see it's lovely. It's Christmas, and this one is way more or way less busy. I've just literally left the size empty apart from the front. So just to show you, there are two different styles of doing it. I do love this. I don't know if you've got to love books to love this, but it's been in my head for so long now that I'm glad I finally got to do it. So I hope that's given you something to think about, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.